5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. My name is Elliot K, and I am your host. And we are here week in, week out to show you how to be more influential, how you can go out there and make an impact in your industry, in your space, through the use of speaking on a variety of different methodologies. And today we are focusing on how to be more influential as a speaker on LinkedIn. Ton, ton, ton. Now, I know some of you might be on Instagram, boo. And I know some of you might be on Facebook, boo. And some of you might be on other platforms. Really, the boo was for comedic effect, right? I have no issues with you being on any platform. But this particular episode is all about LinkedIn, because here's what I've discovered after many moons and many years and many sweat, blood, and tears. And I didn't mean to rhyme, but I did. I discovered that LinkedIn is a gold mine for speaking opportunities, because your ideal booker is on LinkedIn. Your ideal speaker is on LinkedIn. And if anyone's serious about the profession of speaking and influence and being out there to truly impact industries and being more giraffe and sticking their neck out for the right reasons, LinkedIn is a gold mine. And the good news is, it's not like the gold rush. They had an end date. This is never ending. This stuff on LinkedIn is like pum chicka wow wow amazing. So this is what I want to share with you today on this podcast, the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and of course, leave us a comment. And if you do leave us a comment, I will send you a copy of my book absolutely free of charge wherever you are in the world. Just have to leave us a comment that you've subscribed, and of course, a very good comment, and send us a picture of it. You send us a picture of it via LinkedIn or via email. We will send you a copy of my book, How to Be More Giraffe, or How to Stand Out, Speak and Be More Giraffe, or depending what book I've got in the pipeline, because I have another book in the pipeline. So it depends when you hear this, really. Will depend on the book I'm going to send you. But that's enough about the potential books I could send you, Not that I have read 6th or anything, maybe 7th by the time you're listening to this. But anyway, it's not all about that today, although book is a part of influence. And that isn't what I'm talking about today, because I will leave that to other experts who are all about publishing books for influence, and we'll probably get them on the show. Let's talk about the key areas that really truly will allow you to be influential through speaking on LinkedIn, get more speaking gigs, but to be booked as someone of substance, as an expert. Now, do excuse me, because I like to cough. I've still got a cough, so I might go quiet to cough, or I might cough to the side. I'm just warning you that there might be some coughing in today's episode. Oh, yeah. Right. So the first thing I want you to think about when it comes to having more influence as a speaker on LinkedIn, and also to get those booking you want, is the type of content you're putting out there. You've got to remember that the content is almost like buying time on TV, and you're putting your commercials out there, but not in the way you're going, book me, book me, book me, in the way you're addressing a problem, and you're addressing how you're solving it. You're not giving away the how, you're giving away the what the people need to know to book you to speak, because that's where they're going to book you to speak, to maybe hear about the how, or even more what they need to know to solve their problem. So really think about the content you're putting out there, because content is king, content is cash, and content is our speaking opportunities. So really think about the type of content you're putting out and the different forms of content you could put out there, because some really resonate with video, some resonate with short, and some resonate with long. Have a variety, but make sure the content you put out there attracts your bookers, attracts your potential bookers that might want you to speak as an expert. And one of the key things, the established authority, is the content we're putting out there. It's nice to put personal stuff out there, absolutely, graduations, weddings, birthdays, marathons, whatever that means to you personal. But equally, the majority of your content has to display your expertise. The next component after content is relationships. I see this time and time again, and it infuriates me, is the entitlement mentality that a lot of speakers have, that they are somehow going to sit in their house and someone's going to come bashing down their door with a suitcase full of cash and go, please speak for me. Please, how much do you want? Please. The point I'm making here is not to belittle anyone's expertise, okay? You've all worked hard. You should get paid. Or if you speak to sell, you should get in front of your audiences and be able to promote your product. My point is, if you're not building substantial relationships, if you're not taking care to harness relationship, to grow relationships, right? In the industry, then you're not going to have the influence you could have. Or when you do show up, if you're really hard to work with, then why would someone want to book you, even if you're probably the best bookable person? People have very short tethers when it comes to working with people that are very hard to work with, no matter what the name is. I remember I used to really talk a lot to an agent in America, and the number one thing he said about his speakers is they're all easy to work with. Doesn't mean they don't have high standards. Doesn't mean they don't know what they want, but they all built great relationships. They always respected the bookers. They respected the event. They always said thank you and please. They're little things that really matter. Now, of course, you can get that one-off speaking opportunity, get paid loads of money, but would you be rebooked if you're a real a-hole to work with? Really think about that. Doesn't matter you don't have standards, right? It does matter that you have standards, and it doesn't mean that you don't have demands, but no one really likes prima donnas. And when I've come across some highly, really established, highly paid speakers, actually, every time I'm quite blown away by their humility. I'm absolutely taken back their humility. So build relationships, because also what you do then, if you're easy to work with or you're good to work with, of course you add huge value. When you circle back the next year or 2 years later, depending on their booking policy, they'll really consider you again because you brought such value, whether they want the same talk or something new. Better the devil you know, right? Oh, we had Elliot. He was really, really good. Let's have him back. By the way, if you haven't booked me or approached me to book you yet, come on, let's get on with it. But the other thing is, of course, is let's rebooks. For example, I did a talk last year online, no, it was this year, virtually for university out in Ireland, Northern Ireland, in Belfast, in fact. And I circled back to them. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Would you be interested in me coming back? And they're like, yes. So we jumped on a call. We had another call, and now I'm going out there. My point is, if you harness relationship, if you respect people, if you respect their process, then you will have more influence. So build relationships on LinkedIn, respect people on LinkedIn, and approach people as people on LinkedIn. All right, that's the third thing. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is how you package yourself on LinkedIn, right? This is so important, the packaging. And I'm going to break that down for you, right? So from landing on your page, your LinkedIn page, from the title, right? From what people see and read, that matters. Then what they read as your bio, that matters, right? Then the assets you have on LinkedIn, such as videos of you speaking, we talked about content, your show reel, all the bits and bobs that make it easy for you to be bookable, they all matter. There's a great risk in calling yourself a professional speaker, an inspirational speaker, which you might very well be, but that's so wide, then how do people know how you're going to fit into their event? So let's say you do have inspirational speaker and you've caught the attention of someone. You scroll, they're going to scroll down, and the way they do it is they're going to look for the bits that they're looking for in terms of confirming that you're the right speaker for their event, right? Now, if they're not finding that, then they're going to move on. Not because you might not have been the right person, because someone else is displaying that. So really think of your headings, think of your banner in the background. What does it tell you? The picture matters as well, of course, and the titles that you have, and of course your CV. But most people I've come across, well, they'll check out your CV, they'll more read your bio, they'll look at the videos, they'll look at your title, and they'll reach out to you. They also look at your content. So this is key as well. So really think about that when it comes to having more influence on LinkedIn as a speaker. You know, does it truly reflect? Does it hold up a mirror to your expertise? Or are there lots of blotchy bits that you can't quite see if that person is really the person, and then people won't actually bother? Why would they, after all? The other thing to be really important, that's really important, is recommendations. So think about on LinkedIn, your recommendation. It matters, of course, for ranking, but also if I'm like, hey, look, I am the number one speaker in how to speak with authority and be more giraffe, right? And people look at my recommendations and there's very few, then people are like, well, he says one thing, but there's no social proof, or I'm not seeing any of it. So recommendations as a whole are going to be a very important aspect when it comes down to your ability to have more influence as a speaker on LinkedIn, and of course, get the bookings you want. Straight away, when you're done, ask for a recommendation, period, right? Go back to people. Hey, remember when I spoke for you? Can have a recommendation. Start to rank those, because of course, if you have a lot of them, then there's social proof, and proof is in the number. And that's when it does matter. Normally I say, look, you're not a porn star. Size doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter unless you're a porn star. But when it comes to recommendations and things like that, the number of recommendation does matter. But what doesn't matter is how many likes and comments and things like you do, as long as you're consistent with many things. So those are some of the ways you can have massive influence as a speaker on LinkedIn. So we talked about the content you put out there. Content is cash, content is king, and content is bookings. The relationship you build matters as well, and how you harness those relationships on LinkedIn and how you speak to people, etc., etc. How you package your page on LinkedIn matters. It's got to reflect you as a speaker, right? Recommendation matters. And just to add to this, when you do get into the whole conversations, to make sure that you have the right speaker assets that show your expertise off in a way that's going to allow people for you to be influential, but of course for you to get booked, because authority, influence starts way before you're booked, right? It starts way before you're in the room. And the more that people can see your authority through your speaker assets, your showreels, your videos, your one pager, your website, which again must be easy to be found through LinkedIn, then that's how you will have far more influence when you are using speaking as part of your marketing, or when you want to get booked and get paid to speak. So I hope you found that handy. If you did find it handy, feel free to reach out to me, send me a DM, add me on LinkedIn. Of course, like, subscribe, and send us a comment on the platform, your favorite platform for your podcast. We release these every Saturday. This is season 2, which focuses on influence. We are finishing up season 1 as we are speaking. So make sure you like, subscribe, and reach out to me if there's any way I can support you. And of course, if you want me to come and speak at your company or any of your events, do reach out to us, because we'd love to come and support you as well. Till the next time, I want to wish you an amazing day, evening, night, or morning, depending when you're listening to this. And of course, in the meantime, be seen, be heard, always be more giraffe, and always speak your greatness. Till the next time. Bye.